Monkey Tail.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Monkey Tail podcast. This is a special edition. This is the time of the year where we review the year that was 2020. I don't think anyone would have expected the year we had last year, but it's been an interesting year. I am your host Bruno Pinto, and with me as always I have friend / co-host Mr. Marius Dunkley.
Hello.
Ben Jenkins, captain of the boat.
Happy New Year, guys. Hi.
And from his phone, I think, we have Adam. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning and Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. Yeah, 2021. Let's hope that this is a better year. All right? We'll see how it goes. See how it goes. Hopefully so.
I mean, it started well this morning so far, hasn't it?
If this is how it's going to be for the rest of the year, then we're fucked.
We're streaming.
We're only half an hour late.
Yeah, we're streaming on my Twitch because the Monkey Tail one just wouldn't work. My camera only wants to work on as a side view, like like I play games, not on Discord. Anyway, we're recording.
I hate to mention it, but I'm also hearing some sound issues right now.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll see what happens.
Shut up.
No, that's okay. That's okay because actually the sounds you hear, that's actually Discord. Discord is shit. Let me just go ahead and say that, and we'll have to sort something out for the next one. But anyway, let's start this proper now with this is as I said, our review of the year. We're gonna be naming our top 6 games of our favorite 6 games of the year, and we'll also be awarding a few other awards for things like most addictive game, best game for newcomers, and so on at the end of the show. But to start with, we'll start as we always do with an opening question, and this one comes from Adam. This question made Marius giggle quite a bit before the podcast, and Adam's question is: do you get disappointed when you realize just how far you are actually in? I'm assuming a game you're talking about, right?
Could be anything in life, but yes, in a game.
What was the thing behind that question then, Adam? What are you saying? Are you disappointed when you realise you're a long way in and there's still a hell of a long way to go, or when you realise you're nearly at the end? What?
Yeah, when I'm really enjoying a game and then something tells me that I've only got like 20% left, I went, that's a shame. I was really enjoying this game. I could have played it for a lot longer, and I realise I've only got like an hour left. And you go, oh, that's a disappointment. That's a sign
That's
of
when
a
you
good
buy the
game.
DLC.
Yes, I completely understand, and by the way, I understood the question anyway. But yeah, but that's I do in 2 ways. I do sometimes what I like. Oh, I'm really loving this. I kind of don't want to end, so I go and do some side quests instead, because I don't want the main story to end, or I'll try and stretch it. And sometimes, and one of my games which is on my top 6, it was very much like, will you just end already? Because it should have ended already. At least an hour ago. So why am I still playing this? So sometimes it's the other way. I'm like. But yes, very much so. I get like that, and that's normally a sign of a good game. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm the same in that boat. But I've shot myself in the foot, particularly with the recent Sony first party games, where I've set out to get the platinum, and the game could have ended 20 hours ago, but I'm on this route to get the platinum trophy.
Choose not to do it if you don't want to.
No,
keep playing.
but by the time you're sort of 40 hours in, you think, well, I've only got another 10 hours to go, and I get the platinum, and then I'll carry on.
Just stop,
Just
Ben.
stop.
I can't help it.
I used to be the same, and I had to do all of this stuff. It's such a waste of your time. If you're not enjoying doing the stuff and you're only doing it just for the platinum, just stop.
No, I mean, like God of War, for example, it was a great game, but I was doing it to get the platinum, and I did enjoy it, but it just becomes a bit of a slog, and I'm still enjoying it, but the game is so good that it's actually, the world is a prime example for me. Horizon, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. It's kind of all the world is a character and it's very pretty. It looks great on my TV. Blah blah blah. And I think, well, yeah, it's not a bad game. I'm not going to play it. But yeah, when you get 3/4 of the way in and you're like, it's too long.
Yeah, I mean, I've long been trying to follow, just follow fun and just do what I want to do, like with games. I'm quite happy to play 90% of a game and then just be like, there's literally 3 missions and a boss to go. I'm like, nah, I've had enough. I don't have to finish a thing or do an achievement or anything like that.
No, I like. It depends on. Obviously, I do like to get a platinum if it's something that I'm enjoying doing. But
Yeah.
if as soon as it stops becoming fun, now that's it. I stop. I relinquish the platinum as soon as I stop enjoying it. What I tend to do with the sort of games that have lots of side stuff, I'll just blast through. And generally, I do like to finish them. If I've bought a game, I like to get to the end and finish the main story mode if it's good enough to do so. So like I would go through and do the main story, and then if I'm still enjoying it, I'll do all of the side quest bits that are fun.
Yeah.
I tend to not do. I'll do some of them just to see what they're like and see how enjoyable they are and stuff. But generally, I'll plow through the main sort of story section, and then once I've finished the main game, then I'll make the decision whether it's worth keep going on, because I don't want to. I'd rather make sure that I see the end of the story on these sort of things than do all the side bits.
Absolutely. Right. Okay, guys. I think that answers the question fully. Let's move on to the what we hear. The top 6. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be cracking the whip this time. We're not having a 3-hour podcast. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, I
I'm,
approve.
I'm gonna be rushing you guys along. If you guys are taking too long to on the game, I'm sorry. I'm telling you that in advance so that you guys know. Right. So what are the rules? We're doing our top 6 favorite games of the year. Now, this is not the top 6 best games of the year because none of us have played all the games that came out this year. So this is just our favorite games we played this year. That's the first one. Second, myself and Marius try to stick to games that came out in 2020, but we've allowed Adam and Ben to put games that they played this year rather than games that came out this year. However, we came up with Marius and I came up with a rule that's only applicable to me and him. I'm sorry, guys. Which is we call it the Mulligan rule, which is you're allowed to fit in a game even if it's not the same year or the right thing or the right answer to the question. And if you say Mulligan, that's fine. That's no one can argue, and just we'll have to allow you to put it in. So that's the Mulligan rule. It doesn't apply to you guys because you guys already have many Mulligans, bloody games from 2014.
Yeah, your entire fucking lists of Mulligans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I changed mine this morning. I bumped one of them off actually.
It's still. Still.
Well, I went through my list and I realised I'd only played 4 games that came out this year. Well, 3 until about 12 hours ago, but we'll get to that in a second.
That's fine. But okay, let's so yeah, and the other rule. Sorry, guys, I am gonna be cracking the whip as I say. The other rule is if a game is lower or higher, it depends the way you look at it, on somebody's list, you only talk about that game once it's at its highest possible position. So if Ben is number 6 game is my number 1, we only talk about it when it gets to the number 1 position. That's the other rule. We do that. Yep. This every time we do one of these things. Okay.
Good housekeeping, Bruno. Like it. Well
thank you. Yeah, and let's start with the best possible way, which is with our number 6 video game. Marius, what's your number 6 video game?
Is Black Mesa.
Now, I was calling bullshit on this because Black Mesa is obviously a remake of Half-Life.
That was released this year.
That was released at least 7 or 8 years ago, but
that was on early access years ago. Was released this year.
Correct. So we will accept that. And before. Let me see. No one else. Oh yeah, I have it as my number 6 as well. So yeah, let's talk about it now before we move over. the moment he said it was released this year, and I realized it was in early access until now, I'm like, perfect. This is one of those games that I guess any year it's released, it's gonna be in contention for to be on anyone's top list, because it's frankly a masterpiece. It's a fantastic campaign and a great game.
Yeah, obviously this is an amazing remake of a already amazing game. Obviously, it redoes the first Half-Life. They've now got all the levels in there. They obviously it was Half-Life is obviously an old game, and some of it isn't good, particularly the end. Whilst Half-Life is obviously very fondly remembered by everybody, particularly the last few levels weren't great. They've absolutely fixed it. They've made that they've added loads. Like, you get a big whole new section that deals a lot of lore about the Vortigaunts, the sort of alien critters in there, and what's going on that wasn't really explored in any detail in the original. It looks a lot better. I mean, it doesn't look good by a remake standard today, when you've got things like the Resident Evil 2 remake, because, as Bruno says, it's been this game itself is initially sort of 7 years old from when they started doing it or so. So
Yeah, they used the Half-Life 2 engine, didn't they?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
and that on its own is already an old engine, because obviously Valve has published games with that Source 3, I think, or whatever, which is the one they did Portal 2 with anyway.
But it's a great game. I think the shooting it holds up pretty well. I think the story is great. I think the characters, some of the little just little like attention to detail things in there is really good. And if there's anybody out there, any of the youngsters or people that haven't been into games for a long time, have never played Half-Life, get yourself Black Mesa. It's an essential play, I would say.
Absolutely. I have it as my number 6 game as well, because I echo everything that Marius just said. I think for me, one of the things about Half-Life, and in fact, I think it goes throughout the whole Half-Life series and all the episodes and so on, is pacing. The pacing on that game is perfect. Also, I know it's probably overdone now, and a lot of people copied it since it first came out. But that opening scene in the monorail, it was never seen before, and anything like that, where it just kept going from part to part without loading. I know that's normal now, but at the time was groundbreaking.
Yeah, it was, and also in Black Mesa specifically, they've added mugs with the Chuckle Brothers on. So
yes.
should be game of the year, really.
And they added achievements. There's 21x9 support. That it's great, great all around. Right. Okay. So that's mine and Marius's number 6 game. Adam, what is your number 6 game?
Gears of War 5. That's, I think, called the Operation 4 Brothers in Arms, to be exact.
Okay, Operation. That's why I had to do a bit of a Google on this, because Gears 5 is absolutely a video game. No one is disputing that. It came out last year in 2019, and it was great. I enjoyed it. I think Marius thought it was okay.
I enjoyed the display settings.
That's right. Brothers in Arms, Operation 4 Brothers in Arms is DLC that brings, I believe, new maps and some of the old characters. But
okay.
That's why I wanted to clarify this. Are you saying you putting Gears 5 here because of the campaign, or because of the online multiplayer, or because of both?
I only played the campaign.
Okay, fine. So great. That's okay. That's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good game.
Okay? Have I done wrong? Have I been a naughty boy?
No. You have not been a naughty boy, Adam. It's just that you add the name of the DLC. So I wanted just to double check why. Yeah. So why have you played any Gears before that, or is this your first Gears you played?
I've played most of the Gears. The first few I played all the way through. So many years ago, I stopped paying 50-60 quid for a game. So I've not played 4 until it became on Game Pass and stuff like that. And if I remember, Gears 4 was more online rather than I don't think there was a campaign with it. I can't remember. But Gears 5, anyway, I loved it. As Marius has already said, and he's mentioned on the podcast before, the training is cracking. The settings of how to set your display up is good. there's lots of ways to play this. You can play going hordes, and you can just do a boot camp type thing. So there's lots of different ways you can play it if you want to by yourself, etc. You got great weapons, of course. As you go around, you can pick up other people's weapons as well, which is good. Because some games are limited to only what you've got in your arsenal, but you can pick up anybody's.
Gunplay is great on Gears, and obviously the active reload and the cover shooter. As far as a shooter goes, Gears is a pretty decent shooter, in my opinion. Some of the enemies are a bit bullet sponges, but that's part of the Gears thing. That's why you have the active reload, so you can try and get the extra penetration bullets and all of that type of stuff. So when you do an active reload, so you can take on some of those bullet sponges. I am going to move you along, guys. Like I said, I am going to be cracking the whip. Do you want any final thoughts on Gears?
Gears is great. I haven't played it for a while myself, but I'd pick it up on a recommendation from Adam.
Fantastic.
It is a good game.
Now, number 6 from you, Ben, please.
My number 6 is Hades. Again, I've spoken to it about it fairly recently. It is a really, really good game that actually did come out this year. Supergiant, big fan. Bastion, graphics. I can't really talk much more than I did recently. I haven't put any more hours in since we last spoke. But again, in the interest of getting
absolutely
games.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounded like you were slowing down. If you slow down, people jump in. That's all. If you take too long in between sentences,
the internet lag.
Yeah, we think you stop talking. So you said you played it. You haven't finished it yet, have you?
I haven't finished it. No. So since we last spoke, but I was conscious of getting a game that actually came out this year onto my list. And originally the list was only a top 3, but I've managed to bulk it out a bit. But Hades is really, really good. I will go back to it, and obviously it's one of these games that you can pick up and play for a little bit or a long time. And obviously there is an element of replay value to it because you can do it sort of different ways all the way through, different weapons, different abilities. So no, in terms of games that came out this year, I really, really enjoyed Hades. It's one of the few games that I've picked up sort of fairly new as it came out as well. But I look forward to when it comes out on the PlayStation because that's mostly where I do most of my gaming is obviously sat on the sofa. And I really, really enjoyed every game that Supergiant have done. So it's a good 10 out of 10 game for me. And I think it came a lot higher in a lot of the games media's lists. But I've not put enough into it to be able to talk about it fully. But in terms of games that came out this year, highly recommend it.
I had Hades on my top 6. I don't anymore. The reason I don't is first of all, I think Hades is objectively probably it's up there maybe as the 1 or 2 best games came out this year. Period.
Yeah.
As far as games goes, story, everything, mechanics. I played this game last year though. I played this game. I know you say it came out this year, and it did.
It was early access, wasn't it?
But I played the whole game last year, and I did not put it on my top 5 last year. When I played it, I wanted to have a varied list last year, and the roguelite I picked instead was Children of Mortal, which I still think is better story, if not gameplay. So when I was thinking about putting it on my list just because it's a great game, I thought, well, you have it on your list, so we can talk about it. Had I played this again recently, it might have been much higher on my list because this game is pretty spot on, really, as far as roguelites go, but also with a great story and again great pacing, and it's actually quite hard. I mean, I've only managed to beat it once. That game, it's one of the harder roguelites I played in a while. To be fair, I've only managed to get to the last boss once, and I luckily managed to beat him first attempt, but it's difficult. Right. Let's move on now, guys, to our number 5 position then. Marius, we'll start with you again. What's your game in number 5?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Okay. I think that game is
higher on my list.
Higher up on Ben's list, so we'll move on for now. Let's go on to me. My number 5 is A Short Hike. And I'm using my mulligan here before Marius intervenes. This game did come out in 2019. It came out last year. I recently played it on stream, and it's a short game. Talking about an hour and a half. It took me to finish the game, and it was just the perfect length. I mean, yes, I could have played more. You were asking Adam at the beginning about, do we always get annoyed when the game's about to end? That one was just perfect. I mean, I was loving it. I was enjoying it, but it told the story. It did like everything you had to do within the time. So what do you play? You play a little bird called Claire that is spending some time with your grandma. Your mother has dropped you off there, and she's gone somewhere else. And you want to call your mother, so your grandma says there's no reception here. You need to go to the top of the hill, of the peak. That's good reception there. And you're like, great. So you go on this little journey, this little hike to try and get to the top of this mountain. And it has a Zelda Breath of the Wild mechanics of climbing, where you try to climb, but you have stamina and you just drop off. You have to get these golden feathers, and the more golden feathers you have, the more stamina you have, and you can climb further, and you get to talk to all these different characters, all of them very funny, good dialogue, good sense of humor. And you join the rock climbing society, and they tell you about the golden feathers, all of that. Anyway, so you go through this little journey, and then until you obviously get to the peak, and then something else happens when you're there, and it's a bit of a coming of age like story, and just a game about just being nice to other people, and other people being nice to you, and community, and it's just absolutely outstanding, and I recommend it to everyone. It's very very cheap. I think you can get it for like a $5 or less most places. And it's just wonderful video game that was. So that's mine, A Short Hike.
Okay.
Let's move over to Adam. What's your number 5 position here game?
Nice modern game back in 2014. Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. Okay. Because a Watch Dogs
the original.
Yeah, a Watch Dogs came out this year. That's why I was gonna ask you which one is this. It is the 2014 one. Okay.
Yeah. Because the new one was coming out, I thought I need to play. I picked it up several years ago, obviously not 8 years ago, to play. I got into it. I had problems with my issue with my Xbox, so I dropped it. So I thought, well, I'll start playing the series, because I hear you guys doing that. They go back to one and you play 6 sets altogether, as it were. So I thought I'd do that. And I really like Watch Dogs. I haven't got Watch Dogs 2 yet. And
is he gone? I can't hear him anymore.
Hello?
Yeah, I can still hear him. It's fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just.
You all right? You can still hear me, yeah?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, Watch Dogs. You play. I mean, everybody probably knows about it anyway. But you play a guy that can hack things, and you go around on various missions and stuff, and you try and get money off people. You try and get gifts off stuff. You can be a good guy or a bad guy. You can walk around and do stuff. You can also drive around. There's puzzles in it. For instance, you have to work out how to get into a building and how to hack yourself to get into the building, get through the security. There's puzzles of lining up power cables and power flows and stuff. It's good. You have to collect stuff to manufacture stuff or build stuff, depending what you want to say. And the puzzles get harder. You get used to a puzzle and you think, I've seen this before. Then you go, oh, hang on, this is different. And it does develop as it gets harder. But it's not just all around about things. There's driving missions. You've got to go and steal a car and get it between part A and part B safely without much damage and stuff like that. Yeah. You have to go off and destroy the convoys and stuff. Yeah. So it's quite a good mix up of game. And the driving's pretty good compared to some of the driving games, which are very basic. It's a good game. I will get 2 and I will get 3 when it comes out, when I get my Xbox X Series X.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've actually played the Legion this year. It's the only one I played. I played the last one, and yeah, it's well, Legion was fun, so I can see why you like it. I think we started to detect that Adam likes his open world games where you can do lots of different things, and Watch Dogs seems to. And I know Marius has played the back in the day. I remember you platinum or did something to it anyway, didn't you?
No, I just did the one achievement that Joe couldn't do just
That's it.
to annoy her.
Was that the drinking one or something? It was a
Yeah,
ridiculous
that
drinking
that
game.
well, yeah, but that I did in like I think second attempts in about 20 minutes.
Right. Okay. Let's keep moving, guys. What's your game in number 5, Ben?
My game in number 5 is Astrobot Rescue Mission. I'm not going to talk for long about this. Obviously, it's 2018 game. I decided to pick it up and carry on from where I left off, which was I was maybe halfway through and just sort of done the level, didn't get all the collectibles, and I thought, no, I'm going to give this a go. And from then I did it in sort of 2 days, one sitting at a time, if you like, and went through to platinum. I know that Marius has spoken about this extensively in the past. It's a bloody brilliant game.
It is great. I think I'd go so far to say, as this is one of the best platform games
easily.
of all time. It stands up there with Mario's, Sonic's.
Yeah, it's simple. It's the levels aren't massively huge, but the VR interaction is
Hello.
Well, okay.
an extra perspective to a 3D environment.
Okay. Let's. Yeah, you line went off with that, but it's fine. But it's fine, Ben. What I'll say to everyone else is, because I'm recording. If something goes wrong, let me. Because sometimes I can hear him. If you guys can't, let me be the one just trying to sort it out, just so that make my life slightly easier when it comes to the editing. That's all. Because if you cannot hear him now, you'll be able to hear him on the podcast. Hopefully. Very good. So this is a VR game. Oh wow, a VR game on somebody's top 5. That's refreshing. You know what I mean?
And it deserves to be there. I'm very pleased to see that there. I think that game needs more time in the limelight. Like say it is the I agree with what you said. The sort of VR integration is great. You actually have to use the uniqueness of VR to get all of the hidden things and stuff. Yeah, it's brilliant. I can see myself. I too have platinumed it, but I could see myself going back to that game and playing through it again. It's great.
It's really cool. I mean, it's the sort of game that if there was DLC for it, extra levels, then brilliant. I know, obviously,
I'd love that.
It comes that an element of it that is obviously pre-installed on the PS5 with whatever the new Astrobot game is, but just obviously, yeah, Sony have now got this IP that is very uniquely Sony, and I will quite happily play any Astrobot game that comes out if that's the baseline. Then obviously, yeah, it can only get better. But all in all, really, really good game. Enjoyed the platinum bar. 1 or 2 of the challenges were a little bit annoying, and I nearly threw my controller through the window. But very satisfying when I got it. And yeah, if you haven't played it already, and I know it's not obviously accessible to everyone, you really should try and give it a go, because it is one of, if not my most favourite platformer game of the last 5-10 years easily.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely would like to give it a go, but I haven't got the VR stuff. So if it was in VR, I'll give it a go. But that's cool. Right. Let's move over to that's all the number 5's done. So we're moving on to the top 4 now. The number 4 position. Marius, what's your game in the number 4 position?
It is Streets of Rage 4.
Well, did you put it there just because he has a 4 as well on it, so you wanted to keep it?
No, that's just where it ended up. I've only just recognised the convenience of that. I hadn't clocked before.
Yes.
Yeah, so my love of Streets of Rage is well documented on this podcast, and this is one of the greatest examples of the phoenix rising from the ashes. The side-scrolling brawler genre has clearly been dead for many years, probably since Streets of Rage 3, in fact. And this is just out of nowhere. Streets of Rage is back, and it's reignited this genre, I think, a bit. It's just it's a great remake. It is just like a like time hasn't really passed, and they've just done a new sequel to Streets of Rage 4. This could, but they've added what they have added in just makes it brings it up to date a little bit. Obviously the visuals are great, the music is still fantastic. You have the option for new music, which is good, or or some of the original score, which is actually better. They've sort of added some mechanics in terms of like your special moves, sort of take away your health bar, and then if you build up combos, you can get some of that lost health back, which was a nice little mechanic, and it's just so much fun to play. It's just, you don't have to think about it too much. You just punching people in the face, and it's good. Just took me back to my youth. Absolutely loved it. Didn't go. I played a hell of a lot of it. Went through, played it with each character. Again, I was looking, because I was enjoying it so much. I was plowing through trying to get all the achievements on there. However, I called it quits on that when you have to play through on some of the stupidly hard difficulty settings, because that was just dangerous for my monitor and my sanity. It's too much. But other than that, I love this game. And watching Bruno play it terribly on his stream was a lot of fun as well.
Yes, I like the game as well. I'm maybe not as good as one needs to be to fully enjoy the game. Right, I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is my number 4 game, and I'm a bit lost myself now.
Ori.
It's Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Bruno.
Ori and the Will of Two Wisps. Right, I had to think about this game. I was having a conversation precast with Marius about it, and he was saying it didn't blow him away. Sorry, it didn't stay on his mind long. I mean, the game came out in January or whatever.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but once I'd done with it, I was done with it, and it never crossed my mind again. Oh yeah.
As I was playing the game, it's a Metroidvania platformer with fantastic artwork and animations. And as I was playing the game, I was thinking, wow, this game is solid. It's like completely like they put a lot of work into this. I think 5 years in the making, and you can see how tight that game was. Mechanics was solid. It improved in almost every way. I think maybe even the story. I think he improved on every single aspect from the first one, which is already a phenomenal game. I think they got the curve slightly better, because I think the first one, the curve was quite hard and then became quite easy. This one, I think, was throughout more a better difficulty curve, I thought, on this one. And it was just a phenomenal game. And like I said, great mechanics, great story, and without voice acting, just with that gibberish that sometimes you put in games where you understand exactly what they're saying, but no, they're not speaking any language that's recognized by anything. I played it in ultra wide at 120 hertz, and just flew. Just looked gorgeous on it. It was just a great experience from beginning to end. And I mean, it did stay obviously more in my mind than obviously in Marius's, because obviously it's on my top 6 now. But I remember finishing the game and going like, wow, this is gonna be hard to beat this game this year. And obviously it's in my number 4 position, so it wasn't that hard. But it's for a game that came out so early in the year, this is this has had some staying power for me anyway. And anyone that likes platformers and Metroidvanias more specifically should go and check this game out. It's on Game Pass anyway, so if you have Game Pass, you should try it. It's phenomenal, both this and the first one. Right, good. Let's move over to I think it's Adam now. Yes, Adam, what's in your gaming number 4 position, please?
Right, number 4 for me, he's actually came out in 2020, which is good. Which is called Observation.
No.
Hang on.
No.
It came out in 2019, but only on Xbox in 2020.
Right.
That's how I believe it. That's what.
We'll let you have it, Adam. That's fine. Yes, it came out in 2020.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So fact checking as we go along. I love it. Right. This is one I think it was Marius had played. One of you guys had played it and recommended
We
it.
both
I thought,
did.
Me
I'll
and
have a go.
Bruno both played it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. So previously mentioned on podcast, so I won't go too far into it. But it's so different because you're on a space station out in space and you're the computer called Sam, which stands for something. But you navigate round the ship and you sort of wake up because you've been rebooted, and there's one survivor who's talking to you, and she tells you what to do and what to do stuff. You go around the space station by moving CCTV cameras, so it's a slow sweep across, and as it's going across, you have to look at things and try and find things. You have little missions of like there's a fire discovered somewhere, and you have to locate yourself to be looking at that room and find out where the fire is, and then unlock doors by using certain codes, etc. Lots of puzzles, and you have to open the door to get her in. But as it's going on, you really don't know what to do to start with, and the alarms are going off, and there's fire going off, and you're thinking, "Oh my god, what's going on?" But you have to pay attention to what you only can see, and then there's a way of doing it, and every room's a puzzle sort of thing to do stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots of reading and logs and stuff to do. There's way too much stuff, and I only read some, and I seem to get through the game all right. Go on.
No, yeah, I was gonna say I both myself and Marius played it. I think it was in contention for our game of the year last year. And you're right, it came out in June this year in the Xbox One. It came out on PlayStation 4 and PC last year. But one thing I really liked about it was the story. I thought the story was great on it. I mean, and it was story that was some of it was spoon fed you. Other bits had to be you had to find it in the story. But I like that as well. I like that's like reading a book.
Yeah.
And you had a bit of gravity to it. Gravity, as in the movie Gravity. You had a lot of 21 Space Odyssey as well. It was a phenomenal game actually. I'm really pleased you put it on your list.
Yeah,
Likewise.
it was good. So different. It was good.
Very good, very good. Sorry, I got a time on every game, and the time is off on this one. So let's move on. I'm keeping a tight ship to this year. I'm not
It's
like
good.
I said.
I like it. I like this.
I'm gonna keep this moving. Ben, what is your game in number 4 position, please?
My game in number 4 was Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now this is an interesting one because it very nearly didn't make my list at all. Now I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy VII. It's probably one of my, if not favorite game of all time. Came out March, April time, so just beginning of lockdown in the UK. And I played it, loved it, completed it, and then forgot about it. I think for me, it was very much a nostalgia trip of this is the art style of a remake that I'd want, but I wasn't too fussed about the new story elements to it. But obviously it did come out this year, so that's how it got onto the list. But I wasn't sure of where to put it. But in retrospect, sort of looking back, thinking about it now, it was a really, really good, enjoyable game at the time. Graphically stunning, the combat was fantastic. The way that they had brought the a 20-year-old game into 2020 was phenomenal. And I am looking forward to the continuation of the story as and when it comes. But it had to be on my list because obviously it wouldn't be fair for me to not have the remake of one of my favorite games on my list at some point.
You loaned me the game. I played about I reckon only a couple hours, which is probably not enough to really judge it. But the one thing I will say about it, I mean, yes, it looked great and all of that. But the one thing I would say is we talk about Resident Evil 2 being the high watermark of what a remake should be, and this one and Resident Evil 2. When you play Resident Evil 2, it feels like Resident Evil 2. This one here does not feel like Final Fantasy 7 anymore. It feels like a Final Fantasy game.
No, it
does not feel like
it's a modern day Final Fantasy, but
but it's not to me. They went too far. It's no longer. I mean, the turn base is gone. And it's not. We lost Ben. He's so annoyed he left. But to me, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I think it looks great, and obviously, it is a good remake. It's also part 1 of I don't know how many parts I think it's going to be. But one thing
Square Enix don't even know.
Yeah. Well, one thing I did find out when I was playing the game is I no longer have the time or patience to play JRPGs, unfortunately, because I used to love JRPGs when I was younger, and there's good ones keep coming out. Like I really want to try Dragon Quest, and there's a few other things I want to try, but JRPGs just I don't have time for them anymore. But yes, what a great game, and it was on many people's game of the year. This game, actually, to be fair. So Ben is not alone on praising this game. I want it to come out on PC so I can actually try it again, maybe, but with a higher frame rate and all of that nonsense. But yeah, good game. Ben, we've lost your camera. I don't know if you wanna.
Yeah, I don't know what I disconnected, but I'm back again. I'm here. But yeah, it had to be on my list. It's on my list. But there are better games. So
Okay,
moving on.
good. Move on. We shall move on to the business end. The business end of the list now, which is the top 3 games of the year. Marius, what's your game in number 3 position?
It is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. Yeah, I played this game a little bit. It has been mentioned again. This is just a phenomenal remake of what were great games. Originally played them a lot when I was younger. Just the feel of skating around those levels is so much fun, and obviously visually it looks better. They've added loads of different challenges and extra, because the straightforward game just to get to the end of those games is really quite straightforward and simple. It only takes a few hours to do, but the additional challenges and stuff that are there, if you want to do them, really up the amount of value that you get from that game. I played it all the way through to almost platinum. In the end I didn't actually go for the platinum because I did everything but one final trophy, because that was just a stupid grindy get to a certain level. And even checking out some videos on how to do it the quickest way, it was still going to take multiple hours just doing a cheap grindy, no pun intended,
When you say
level up.
a particular level, is it like a skill level or a physical level within
Like
the game?
an XP level, like
Right. Okay.
yeah, and that's just ain't fun. Like all of the other stuff, I was really enjoying. Like there were some bits that were frustrating, some bits were really difficult. But it was sort of that Cuphead thing of it was difficult, but it's just a matter of getting better at it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The other, so that was the reason that I sort of stopped playing it, although it's one of those things that's probably an always install for me, because I can just pick it up at any time and play. The other reason I had to stop, because I generally got Tony Hawk's thumb as a result of playing it, and I was in genuine pain for a while, so I had to stop.
Right. I also play this game. I'm happy you have it on your list, so I didn't have to put it on mine. I don't know if it would have been my 3rd game, but it definitely would have been somewhere in my list. Chat is laughing at it. I don't know why. Tony Hawk's
No, I don't know why either.
is a fantastic remake of what was one of the best games on the PlayStation when it first came out. So they managed to keep most of the soundtrack. You don't talk about the soundtrack. I know that's not something you particularly like so much, Marius. I know you're more into your dubstep and drum and bass and all of that.
No, don't let me in with the dubstep crew, please.
No, but you do like your house and
proper music. Yes,
yeah.
Electronic music. Yeah, is more
and
my sort of. I like some of the hip hop on there, and actually some of the American new wave punk, whatever you call it. It was fine. I don't find the music offensive.
Yeah, but
whereas a lot of music that I don't normally listen to, I do find offensive.
But for me, I do love that music, and it was great that they kept most of it, and they added a few new ones as well. We overrun on this one, so the next one's gonna be cut a bit. Shit, that's mine. Oh well. My game in the number 3 position is Cyberpunk 2077. Get over it, guys. Get over it. All of you, get over it, okay? I don't want to hear any complaining from anyone. Yes, it came out with lots of issues on the PlayStation platform, on the Xbox platform. I know that it's he was running at like 20 frames. That's in some scenes on those. But I can only talk about my experience, and my experience is I played the game on the highest possible settings with ray tracing turned on. Yes, with the LSS, because obviously to obviously be able to actually run the game, and I played it on a constant over than 60 frames per second frame rate. I played 50-60 hours of it, and yes, there are a couple of bugs here and there, but what do I like about the game? It's just brilliant. It's a brilliant RPG. It picks on a lot of games I like. So it has a bit of the GTA in it, of course. Yeah, I mean it's hard not to compare GTA. It has a lot of The Witcher in terms of it's made by the same team, so it has a lot of those nice side quests that you go on a side quest and then 3 hours later you finish this side quest that was as good as the game's main quest. He has a lot of Fallout. He has a lot of Fallout on it, and Deus Ex. That's the other thing it draws a lot from is on the Deus Ex game. That thing of you go and do a mission, and you can depending on how you set up your character, you can go and stealth past. You can go and stealth into each and then take out each enemy one by one and just put them to sleep, or you can hack. You can hack your way to the objective without having to even being inside, maybe. So there's lots of different ways you can do it. I don't think it does it as well as Deus Ex, because Deus Ex is still the best game for that type of gameplay. But this just brings so many things in, and on how it looks, it's it's one of the best games I've ever played in terms of looks wise. It just looks gorgeous, and the story is great. I like that the RPGness of it as well. When you can put points onto lots of different categories like stealth or mechanics or all of those things. But also, if you do a thing a lot in the game, it also rewards you for that. So if you always use strength over guns, for if you use sword over guns, it also levels that up for you, and you get extra points on that category as well. So if you're into your RPGs, this like Fallout and stuff like that, this is a great game, and that's why it's there. And yeah, I love it, and I'm gonna be playing a lot more of that game. It's one of those games that I just it's very addictive. You cannot stop playing it. That's my game in the number 3 position. Adam, what's your number 3 game, please?
Mine's an old one. Sorry, again, 2015. This one, Metro Redux,
That's
2033,
and that's for and that's on the remake side, by the way, because that's when the remake came out. Because the game itself came out maybe 2010, maybe less. Yes.
But I've played a couple of Metros before, and I kept seeing this in Game Pass, and I'm thinking, I'll have to do that. I'll have to do that. So I did it, and I thought it was a lovely game. All the Metros have been great that I've played so far. So you're down in the Russian subways. You have to fight. The world's gone to shit, basically, and you have to go around and find somebody, basically. But there's lots of missions that you have to go through. You end up shooting creatures and Nazis and some Russians. You're fighting through tunnels, on trains, above ground. There's lots of different levels to it. You've never got enough ammo. Everything's scarce. So you find the ammo because you go and buy it if you've got stuff you can sell, or you have to go around and roll over dead bodies and stuff to get their ammo left off it. And sometimes you've got 2 bullets for one gun and 2 bullets for another gun, and you've got 4 enemies coming towards you. So you have to shoot the first 2 with the one gun and swap to the other one, and then shoot the other 2 if you can. There's just lots of lovely things about the game. It's great, very immersive.
Yeah,
brilliant cobwebs as well. I'll just say brilliant cobwebs.
Yeah, that's good. You set them on fire, didn't you?
There are great cobwebs. You're right.
Tell you what, you int for a surprise when you play the latest one, when you finally get to play the latest one. When it comes to cobwebs, anyway.
2030.
I love the game. I love the book as well. I know Marius is a fan as well. It's a great book to read. I love the premise of being stuck on the underground in Moscow. I like that in this world, this post-apocalypse world, bullets are your currency, so you pay with bullets. I love that, and I love how it's on rails on purpose, but it actually works better. And something that on the later game, when you go more on the outside, it lost a lot of the charm of being this game where you're just going through the tunnels. Yeah, it's a great game, and I'm it's also been recently. I think you can get it for free on a lot of places now. It's been given away for free quite a few times. So it's a great game to try and a great introduction to the series. Right, let's move on to Ben. What's your number 3, Ben? What's your number 3 game?
Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2. I played it before Final Fantasy 7. Again, just at lockdown. Right time, right place. Phenomenal game. I can't talk more about it. We've talked about it 15, 20 episodes in some form or another.
We've probably said enough about Resident Evil 2.
Obviously, I didn't play the original, so for me it was a new game. But obviously, I'm familiar with the series, so I can't compare it. But I don't need to because it is its own game in its own right, done well. There's not much I can say about it that hasn't already been said. It's short enough that it's nice and condensed. You can get through it in a few hours. I haven't played through the alternative campaign yet, but it's been sat on my shelf, sort of looking at me for a while, and I would like to do that. Again, in interest of time, and it had to be on the list because I played it this year, or 2020. Phenomenal game. It was higher up originally because of I'll get to that in a second, but I can't say any more than has already been said. So I guess let's just move on, and everyone should play Resident Evil 2 Remake if you haven't already.
Resident Evil 2 was mine and Marius's game of the year last year when it came out. It's a perfect remake, as we keep saying. It's the perfect length as well. I think you can easily finish in 3 hours. If you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is doable. I mean, it took me maybe 10 just knocking around the mansion.
I think first run through is probably about 6 or 7 hours, but you can do it in 2 or 3.
Yeah, you can do it in 2 or 3 if you really want to, and it's great. It's just a great remake, fantastic game, and looks gorgeous as well.
Like lots of replay value as well in there, because yes, you can finish it in 6 hours, but you've then got all the alternate the 2 alternate the stories and the 2 different characters as well.
Yeah, that's two quite different stories with the 2 characters, and then the alternative stories for each character as well. So if you put all of that together, you're looking probably more like over 20 hours. But it's great. It's a great game, and I'm happy you really finally played it, and you showing it some respect by putting it here on your top. On your top.
No, it had to be on the list. It's like you've said before. It's just so good. Even if I'm not usually a horror game fan.
I'm moving already, Ben. You need. I mean, it's a shame you guys cannot see my camera today because the amount of times I've been putting the camera like shut the fuck up. I said I was gonna put the timer on, and I'm sticking to it. When I move on, don't try to come back. Please do it because it's not gonna happen.
Go on then, move on.
Business. I wanted to. We on to the business end of it now. We are top 2 games of the year and twists. Get ready to be triggered on chat there. Right, Marius, what's your number 2 game of the
Half-Life Alyx?
Right, so that's higher up on my list. So we'll talk about it in a bit. Let's move over to my game at number 2, and that's The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, that's higher up on my list, funnily enough.
Very good. Okay, we'll move over to Adam now then. Adam, what's your game in the number 2 position?
Right, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect Andromeda, yes.
Yeah, this I think it's a 2017 game. I've not played any of the Mass Effects before, and I believe there's lots. So one of the questions at the end of this is, I think this is brilliant. Is it worth me going and playing back the other ones? But we'll Well, I'll ask that now.
Well,
yes,
Play the
because
Mass
the other
Effect?
ones are clearly better than this one, specifically
Oh,
number
right.
2. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, okay.
I would say this, Adam. I've tried Andromeda a couple times, and a couple times I managed to get 2-3 hours into it, and it just doesn't grab me. Yeah, Mass Effect 2 specifically is one of the best games ever made. So that's
Right.
all I'm gonna
Yeah,
say.
okay.
However, they are coming up with a remaster of the 3 games called Mass Effect something or other. It should be called that.
That's unusual.
Uh, it's coming out
Yeah.
next year, I believe, or this year. They're doing a remaster with all 3. I don't know if you want to wait for that. Maybe not. I'll just go ahead and I'll
Get the
just
other
go
two.
ahead and play that too. So I'm just reading the chat.
I see. Yeah, I knew exactly what you were laughing at.
It's you've triggered the chat with Andromeda talk. Hey, listen, you like it, you like it, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, we've okay, Adam.
Crack on, Bruno. Crack on.
Adam, we can only hear your lips moving. So
no.
Oh no, you're back. Okay. Final
Am I
thoughts.
back?
Final thoughts on Andromeda. Sorry, you elapsed most of your time by not talking.
Okay. Yeah. Technical issues then.
Yes.
It almost lost me a couple of times because when you're going around the space station, there's just too much running around asking stupid questions. But when you get off the space station and start going around the planets and stuff, those missions are much, much better. I'm avoiding going back to the space station as much as I can and just going between the planets. But there are so many different environments, weapons, animals, critters. It's great. I thought it was a good game. But if nothing else, it'll certainly make me play the other games.
Adam, absolutely, and that's why I stopped playing the game. I got to the space station part, and it's too much early on. Too much. Go and do this conversation there. Go and do the conversation there. Mass Effect, the other Mass Effects, especially Mass Effect 2, are a lot tighter and a lot more balanced in terms of story versus action. So the other ones on board you a lot better. But the thing is, the great thing about this is you obviously have it quite high on your list here, number 2, right? And it's a game which is flawed in some parts. Now imagine what are you going to think of Mass Effect 2, which is a game which is a lot of people's like favorite game. So yeah, you're in for a surprise, my friend. You're in for a surprise. Mass Effect 2 is really good. And yeah, chat is saying once you play Mass Effect 2, you'll never touch Andromeda again. I tend to agree, actually. I tend to
Absolutely.
I tend to agree with that. Ben, what's your game in number 2 position, please?
I think it's Ghost of Tsushima.
Which Marius had as his number 5 game.
Mhm.
Right, go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
I'm giving you
Ghost of
extra.
Tsushima is a wonderfully, beautifully crafted open world game that goes on far too long if you're getting the platinum. But the story is really, really good. The animations are lovely. The world itself is a living, breathing sort of well, not breathing, but it portrays the story and the setting incredibly well. It's a lot of fetch quests. It's a lot of the same, but the world itself was such a pleasure to drive around, ride around on my horse, and the underlying storylines and how they you can do them in any order that you sort of see fit. Every side quest has got its own little perk that you get to improve your character. But there's no sort of overlap with the order that you do it. The characters that you meet along the way are they do reference back to other storylines within the game, but it's done in such a way that I really enjoyed just sort of going off for an explore. As I say, towards the end for me, it got a little bit boring because I was going to the platinum, and it is a lot of the same. But I think if anyone that wants to sort of not mainline the story, but just sort of make it through at your own pace, not worrying about the platinum trophy, it's a truly, truly incredible experience. And yeah, in terms of games that came out this year, it had to be on my list. So yeah, I do recommend playing it. Again, it's a nice big open world. Looks incredible. Yeah, got a good rating from me. Marius, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I echo what you said. I mean, it's a very, very traditional, standard open world game. It doesn't do anything new or different or exciting. I think, and I've been moving away from those sort of games, but I think this got me because of the setting and the being the sort of samurai story. It was just cool. We don't see enough of like like I've seen the sort of high fantasy stuff. I've seen the spacey stuff. That happens a lot in video games. This is something that there's nothing else quite like that touches that setting. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I played through the story, and I am still currently playing, working through towards the platinum. Whether I'll get there, like I say, it depends if it stops becoming fun. But at the moment, I'm still really enjoying it. I think some complaints I do have it, which meant it wasn't higher in my list, is the combat sometimes can be annoying. Specifically in the early game, archers can hit you as you're fighting the swordsman. I love the duels that are in there. There's some one-on-one duels. I really think there should be more of that. I think the game's actually weaker when you're fighting multiple opponents. It's a bit more like a sword fight, sort of lots of parrying and timing against the incoming attacks in the one-on-ones is great fun. And again, the standoffs where you can just sort of challenge people, and it's just a sort of timing thing where you can just hack as you've leveled up a bit. You can sort of hack like multiple people down in one go.
It makes you feel pretty badass, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does make you feel badass. Yeah. So yeah, I absolutely love this game. It's in a year where there wasn't some other strong contenders like this year, it could have been number one. I love it. It's really good.
Yes, very good. I'll read the. I got some top threes here from some people that I've asked to give us a top threes, and it's in some of them. Game is there on other lists, so obviously people like it. I haven't played it yet. It hasn't really pulled me. I think it's just. I've seen the streams of it, and I know I comment on this again, but the wind is so dumb. It's still one of the dumbest things I've seen in a video game this year. You know,
it's not. You're so wrong.
The wind is dumb. Putting
what is dumb is the endless supply of leaves that all the trees appear to have, because every screen, literally every second, every frame of that game, there are fucking leaves falling off the trees, and it like I get why they're doing it, and it's all arty and all that stuff, but it was for me, it was actually a little bit too much. The wind is actually really well done. It fits in with the tone and style of the game perfectly. It's a million times better than the alternative of having a big arrow pointing where to go.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. I don't want an arrow or dumb wind.
Don't use the wind then.
That's me.
Yeah, you don't have to do it all the time. But anyway, we've had this discussion before.
Windgate. Very good. Okay. The next game, well, we're on to the business. Well, the top our favorite game of the year then, and we'll start with Marius again. So yours is The Last
of Us Part 2,
which I had as my number 2 game, and then Ben also has as his favorite game of the year. Correct?
Yes,
that's what he says on your list anyway.
Right,
and
it only got added on within the last 24 hours. I've only played 3 hours of it, so I can't speak. But compared with Ghost of Tsushima,
classic Ben, it wouldn't be Ben without putting a game that you've only played a couple of hours of.
No, but from the 3 hours that I have played, comparing it with my previous game of the year, Ghost of Tsushima, this I think I'm going to enjoy a hell of a lot more, because it's more of a linear, story-based experience that looks phenomenal. So yeah, that's my input for 3 hours worth. It's my game of the year. So yeah, crack on and talk more about it, because obviously without spoilers, but it's a bloody great game already. So
it's okay. So let me just ask you a question, because obviously I finished the game very recently. I started playing the game when it came out, but I've only finished it very recently, and I think the game looks really good for a PlayStation game. You know, I need to we're on to a different generation of games now. You know, when I say a game looks very good, yeah, I can also tell you that Minecraft RTX looks better. Okay, let's just put it into perspective. But it looks fantastic for what it is. Running on a PlayStation. It's just that I think it's the best looking game on a PlayStation 4 for me. But do you think do you agree with that, or do you think something like a more like a Ghost of Tsushima looks better? Which one do you think looks
Oh, Last of Us is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last of Us is better, and it's a lot more specifically detailed, which I really like. Like the intricacies of the surroundings and the environment you're in is better. I mean, I don't feel I'm going to use photo mode particularly much, whereas in Ghost of Tsushima I did. But just in terms of the placement of every single asset in that environment is incredible. And the best snow physics ever. I think, Marius, you've mentioned it before, but the snow in it so far, I've been like, wow, that's really cool. But I know that's
for me, I love the way it looks. Okay, so we want to just talk about that because, but for me, it's the story. I think the story is great. Also, on the year 2020, with the year of games coming out with lots of bugs and other things like that, that game was pretty spotless throughout.
Yeah, it was. They killed their staff to do it, but that's the price you pay.
Great rope mechanics. There's a part where you have to
fantastic ropes. Yeah,
rope mechanics and puzzles. We're not going to spoil anything here. On any game really, so I'm not going to spoil this one either. But there was some controversy with the story. Some people didn't like the story because they were expecting something else.
Yeah, those people need to get over it. That was exactly the right thing for them to do, and I think that's why I love this game so much. Is that they did not take the easy option. Everything they did, that they knew exactly what they were doing with some of the decisions that they made in the story. And yes, it pissed people off because those people just wanted a nice like just another version of Last of Us, just like the same characters doing the same things again. And they made the decision to very much change things up a bit. And I think that was absolutely the right decision. It made it much more interesting for me. I said at the point when we were talking about Last of Us, when we first finished that, I think on the spoiler cast, at that point I didn't want a sequel to Last of Us because I imagined that sequel to be just more of the same, and I think that would have not been the way to go. So I was really pleased that they didn't make it more of the same. They very much added to it in terms of the story. I'm talking here.
Yeah. So I love it. I think it's one of the best games I've ever played actually. Why is it my number 2, not my number 1? I think it's really close, but it's not quite there because I think it's a bit too long, in my opinion.
I do agree with that.
I think it suffers from the Two Towers or whichever one was the last Lord of the Rings with too many endings, or too many places where they should have ended, as well. It doesn't necessarily mean the end that happens is bad. It's just they could have ended it elsewhere. So some if this was a movie, a good editor would have cut out a couple of things that would have made it a better game by cutting off a few parts here and there. But
yeah, I agree.
But what a game though! What a game it is! Great mechanics. Acting is great on this. Really good, as it always is. And I cannot wait for the next Naughty Dog game on the PS5. I cannot wait for what they're gonna do. Be it another Uncharted, or be it another Last of Us, or even a new IP. I cannot wait for I think it's one of my favorite developers. They make some really wonderful games, and this is another one of those. That's all I'll say. It's hard to talk about this game without touching spoilers.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'll leave it. Plus we've elapsed the time on this one as well. Let's move on to Adam. What's your yours is actually no, mine is first. Sorry, if we keep the order going. Mine is Half-Life Alyx, which Marius also had as his number 2 game. We've done a spoiler cast on this. We talked about it before. We even talked about it on the last podcast when we did the games of the generation. So by all means, any new listeners listening to this, feel free to go and listen back to those podcasts for a more in-depth review of the game. But the reason why it's my number one game of the year, and why nothing else comes close to it really this year, is because it's I couldn't put it down when I was playing it. I kept putting the VR headset on. Also, when I play VR, I tend to play an hour or two, and I was doing 5-6 hour sessions on this game because of how good it was. And I've done things that the firefights and the puzzles. When you're doing it in VR, and when you have this physicality and you have to do the movements to do things, and you have to literally, if you see you're trying to hide somebody, and you literally going through leaning down on the floor, and then you're moving stuff with your hand out of the way so you can peek into this enemy passing, and if you want to line up a headshot, you literally have to line up the weapon and shoot it. It got me doing things. Or if you want to open a car door to use to protect yourself from oncoming bullets, you actually literally open the door, and then you literally lean in your own floor, and you're hiding behind this door. It's so immersive, and that's why I still think that VR is indeed the future of video games. I think holodeck is going to be the thing eventually, right? It's the Ready Player One thing. You put your headset on and you're there. And even though I played some really great VR games, this is the first one I was like, yes, and that I was like, yeah, they pretty much hit the nail on the head on every single aspect of it. And the story is great. It also reminded me that I really want another Half-Life. I don't care in what dimension they bring me in. I don't care if they give me if it's a movie. Yeah, I don't care if it's a book. I don't care if it's a comic book. I don't care if it's a game. I want more of this. I love the story. I love the lore of this world. And it's the attention to detail they put onto this. Every single thing you pick up, every single little bit, even if it's a small can or a pencil or anything that they put on is there for a reason, and it looks like it fits in, and just the world building is great. Even more, I mean, we talked about Half-Life, so we talked about The Last of Us, which has great world building as well. I agree. This one takes it further even. I think it really does feel like you're in City 17, and yeah, I think this is up there as one of the best games I've ever played, and I cannot wait to replay it. I'm kind of trying to forget what happened on it so I can replay it again and enjoy it again all over again. I just love it. Marius, what do you want to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, everything you said. I don't want to really go into the mechanics or anything anymore. I think we've already discussed that. It is phenomenal. I think for me, I actually have started replaying it again. So I'm playing through again with the commentary on. Ghost of Tsushima has actually come in and stopped me. I haven't played it for a while, but I've got a good chunk of the way through the game again. And that's probably part of the reason that it didn't end up on number one is my second playthrough. Is that everything that you said is absolutely right, but definitely second time hasn't been as impressive as the first time, because the first time it's all new, and there is definitely that novelty factor of doing those sort of things that you've spoken about in VR for the first time and on the first playthrough. Second time, it's not quite as impressive, because you don't have that sort of wow factor of, oh my god, I've never done this before.
But more in if you want more in depth take on this, do listen to the previous podcast. We go in depth. There's things like the ammunition where it doesn't reload like a normal game. They do a lot of things different than other games do, in a good way.
Right, you must be over your own timer now, so I think I need to move you on.
No, I games that two people had, I gave slightly more time because that time was not spent previously, you see. But we are over the time, you're correct. Moving on to Adam's game of the year, please, and thank you.
Oh, okay. Halo Master Chief Collection Audition. So,
I mean, this one is nearly right because it came out this year on PC. So
Does it only just come out this year? Bloody hell.
On PC, yeah.
No.
So go on, please. Yes.
Mulligan. Yeah, talked about it in the last podcast with the one for the series, as it were. Loved it. I mean, I've played lots of different Halos, but this brings lots of the different games into one game, so you can pick which one you're playing, but you don't just play Master Chief. You can play just a grunt, and you can either by yourself or you can be with 2 or 3 other people, which are AIs, but and I believe there's online as well, but I didn't do that. But it's really good. All the usual weapons. You can pick up the alien weapons as well, which are probably sometimes better than yours. You've got the different vehicles you can drive, which are your own or the aliens. So you got the warthogs and the jeeps and the flying machines. I can't think what they are at the moment, but it's a lovely game. If you've never played Halo before, and who hasn't, but
Pelican.
It's a lovely Pelicans. That's the one.
Or the Bunchies. Yeah.
Yes,
the Bunchies is the one
yeah.
you actually drive. The Bunchies are the one you actually drive yourself. Pelicans are the ones that bring you in, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A Master Chief Collection is a great deal in video games, by the way, because you get like 5 or 6 games, right? You get all of them. You can play them from start to end like that. You can play them from start to end with somebody else online or more than one person. You can even do your own thing. Like I want to play chapter 1 of or I want to play the sniper. If for instance, you can do like I want to play the sniping section of Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you make that the campaign, and off you go, and then it just takes you through the different chapters. So you can even pick and mix what you want to do with it. The online parts, you have every single map that's ever came out on any of those games, and the end game mode. You have it's a great game. I mean, I'm actually quite pleased you put it in. I know it came out in 2014. Get over it, people. But it came out this year on PC. To be fair, and actually it has things like ultra wide support and high refresh rate support as well. Off the bat straight away, you can play a 120, 21:9, and it's great. It's a great fun game to play. And Microsoft are really doing good stuff here. I mean, if I want to play, I can play the game, as I said, 120 ultra wide, but I can play on a campaign with Adam playing on his Xbox One, and he can join my campaign and we can play together. And then if Marius had a Series X, he could come in on a Series X and join us as well. And pretty soon, you probably have like a.
I'll join on my phone.
You can absolutely join on your phone, and Ben could jump in on his phone and be. Microsoft are really getting this now. I think they fight. It took them a while to get there, but they're getting it, and they're doing a great job here. Yeah. So a great game, I think, and thanks for bringing that game to us. Okay, let's move over to the last part of the show now, which is the individual awards. We just this is just a quick section here where we just give a quick fun few awards to some games or some video game things that happened this year. So let's start with the most addictive game. So what's the award for most addictive game for you, Marius?
Well, it's Tony Hawk's 1 and 2, isn't it? I've already said I officially got Tony Hawk's thumb as a result. That's how much I was playing that game. So I think that says it all. Next.
For me, there's many I could have put in here. I mean, I played a lot of PUBG. I played a lot of PGA. PGA. I started playing PGA 2K21 or whatever it's called, and I played a lot of it. But I'm actually gonna go with Spelunky 2. I wanted to go with the game that came out this year, and I played a lot of Spelunky 2. I actually think they've improved on the original Spelunky HD again in every single way, and made it a bit harder. Actually, I haven't been able to beat it yet, but Spelunky 2 is a fantastic little game that I played a lot this year, and came out this year as well. So, and also, by the way, Spelunky 2 nearly made it on my top 6. It was at the, jumping at the door there. What's yours, Adam?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect.
You're gonna set off the chat again.
There's nothing else that's worth it for that. Let's move on.
And Ben, what's yours? Most addictive game, please.
It's Elder Scrolls Legends. Again, I play it daily. It's my favorite game probably of the last few years, just in terms of replay value. And yeah, it's not addictive, but I couldn't think of anything that would be relevant for what I've played. But yeah, there we go. There's my answer.
Let's move over to best game for newcomers. Marius, what do you recommend for that?
Mine is the same as yours. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Sort of came out of nowhere and hit hit the scene big, and loads of people played it. I think it obviously helped being on PlayStation Plus, and obviously it is just it's a knockout with fat jelly men. And it's fun, and you don't need any in-depth knowledge of video games to play. You need jump and grab and run. A child can essentially understand that game and how it works and get on board with it. So yes, nice, easy recommend. I think
absolutely why I'm selecting it as the best game for newcomers. The chat is kicking off again, but the reason for that is I'm not saying this game is it wasn't even shortlisted for my game of the year. Of course.
Oh no.
Of course, no one is saying this is a brilliant game with great narrative. What we're saying is it's the best game for newcomers. Somebody like your mom, she never played the game before. You put the controller in her hand, you go like, this is stick to move forward, and this is jump. She'll get it, and she'll get the 1 versus 100 thing and the battle royale part, etc. So that's why I put it on there. And Adam, you have on yours Halo MCE.
Yeah, Master Chief Edition.
Oh, Master Chief Edition.
Because if you've never played Halo, you'd pick that up and enjoy all the games. That's what I was thinking.
I don't know if it's best game for newcomers, but we'll listen.
Individual awards, you can do what you like.
It's an individual award. You do whatever you want on that one. Okay, what else have we got here? Okay, biggest surprise.
That for me was Carrion. Sort of came out of nowhere. I had heard about it but wasn't expecting much of it. When it dropped, absolutely loved it. Nothing else quite like it. Playing the part of the big monster eating everybody was a lot of fun, and great tentacles.
Great tentacles. Very good. I mean, I did say this was quick fire, so let's keep moving. Biggest surprise for Adam. It's no surprise. Is
no, I'm going to change my answer. I'm going to say observation.
Oh, okay, fine.
Cool.
Okay.
Observation. Yeah.
To let the listener know how the sausage is made here, you had Andromeda again there, but I think peer pressure is. I mean, when we do this next year, it's going to be Mass Effect 2. I didn't know how good. I didn't realize how good Mass Effect universe could be. For me, but my biggest surprise was Microsoft buying ZeniMax. I mean, I could have gone with any game. Of course, there's many surprising games, but Microsoft buying ZeniMax, obviously the parent company of Bethesda and two other, I think 7 total studios, was a surprise. It came out of nowhere for me. I thought it was made great sense to do it, and so that's, to me, that was the biggest surprise. Again, we talked about it on previous podcasts. Go to monkeytail.co.uk. Look at you can even search there for by term, and if you wanna think, oh, have they talked about this game before? If you search on our website for that game, it'll tell you the podcasts we've actually talked about a set game. Quite clever like that. So yes, by all means, gonna have a look there. We did talk about it in a bit more detail when the news first broke. Ben, what's your biggest surprise this year?
Just the fact that Cyberpunk was as broken as it was on the on the base consoles. I've not played it myself, but I'm only sort of parroting news. But obviously, it got delayed 3 times fairly recently, and you kind of expect something's not right. But obviously, you can delay a game as many times as you want to make it good. But then it still came out. And I've seen some of the the compilations of people putting all their bugs together on YouTube, and it's just inexcusable. But like some of the stuff that's going wrong, it just doesn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected it to be that broken on the console that obviously it was announced, well, not necessarily announced for, but it was announced on the last generation, and it still sort of hasn't come out. So that's pretty surprising for me. But obviously, beginning of next year, hopefully it will
What if
it will
I
be
mean,
fixed
what if
slightly. And
yeah?
sorry,
What if I tell you that? I mean, I agree, but I think this has a lot of. This was a very anticipated game.
oh yeah, no, of course,
But no,
people hyped it up more
no,
than it should have been.
no,
Perhaps,
that's
but
not what I was gonna say.
That's the consumer's
That's,
fault.
that's
but-
not what I was gonna say. What if I tell you that there's other games, other big games that were worse than this, but didn't get half the stick that this one got? Fallout 3 was much worse than this on PlayStation when it came out. Much worse. Didn't get half the
I would argue that there was a lot of stick about that, and Skyrim
Yeah.
when they came out, so they did get it. I think the
they're
difference
not necessarily a big surprise because it's just a big open world game.
No, the difference here is CD Projekt Red, because they have a history of previously not releasing anything until they were completely 100% happy with it and it was working well.
Yeah.
And they appear to have broken their own rules here. That's what the surprise is, and that's what's pissed people off.
It was surprising to me too. So yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't surprising. I was just commenting on the bugs itself. But yeah, no, absolutely correct. It was surprising. Right. Biggest disappointment, Marius.
E3. It was rubbish this year.
I didn't even pay any attention to it.
Well, yeah, that's because it didn't exist.
Well, they did like a summer of
exactly
announcements and videos.
The replacement to E3 was terrible. I really missed those 3 days of hype, getting everything. I know where everything is. I know I've got those 3 days. I know what times all the fucking things are on, so that I can watch them. Even if I don't watch them live, I can catch up with them the next day, and I get my annual hype of video games in those 3 days. I enjoy that. And it was a bit of a mess this year with the whole situation. So yeah, I want, even if E3 doesn't return in its old way, I just like things a bit more condensed. So when I know and I can keep track of it. It being over 3 months was just a loss for me, and I missed that hype.
Right. For me, my biggest disappointment this year, it's been a crazy year, right? But no 24-hour gaming marathon was one for me. I mean, I did my own 19-hour COVID-19 thing where I raised quite a bit of money for the NHS, which I was quite proud of, and I did 19-hour stream on that. That was awesome back in May, but I did miss the hour, getting together and doing the 24 hours, obviously with the COVID and all of that. That was not possible. Adam, biggest disappointment, please.
I didn't realise this was general. I thought it was all about games. I'm sorry. So I put
right.
the game Long Dark,
yeah.
The Long Dark, and I thought the game was brilliant, and I really did that. I have technical problems on my Xbox. That's why I was disappointed. I'm waiting for my new Xbox to turn up, and I'm going to load that game and finish it. It's a lovely game.
Okay, that's so you had some. They had a few bugs there. Fair enough. I guess the other. I mean, just if I can throw another one in there, because Ben didn't put one in.
I've just put one in actually.
Oh, it did.
Bad luck,
it's 2020 in general.
Sorry.
Yeah.
2020 in general was quite disappointing. Obviously, yeah.
I was gonna say, for me, it's the fact that consoles with such scarce. You could, obviously Adam wants to get a Series X, but you cannot get one. So that's I was just gonna say that in terms of being able to get a console this year. Right, we moving on to the final award, and this is an individual award. This is, you can give an award, whatever award you want to anything. So it could be anything. So Marius, take us in, please.
Mine is the award for the most interesting, amazingly clever game that most people completely ignored and really deserves more credit than it actually got. And that award goes to Dreams. There's so, I mean, even myself, I didn't put as much, I haven't kept up with playing it as much as I could have, because there's so much other stuff to do and play. But the what you can do with that game and the stuff people do is absolutely phenomenal. I really do want to go back. I've been waiting. It's just difficult for me to do so much now, but I want to go back because it now has VR support. So, and I haven't been back in to see what people have done with Dreams in VR. So I really want to go back there. But I think it's been massively overlooked for the absolute technical marvel that it is.
Great. Mine is, I'm gonna give it the most visually improved game, and that's Minecraft RTX. And the reason I'm doing that here is because I needed to put this game somewhere, because I played a lot of Minecraft. Obviously, Minecraft came out years ago, right? Over a decade ago. But they've this year they brought the RTX ray tracing to the game, and it completely changed the game. The game looks like a different game altogether, and it's still Minecraft, so it's still lots of fun. But to me, yeah, the most improved game, and also support. I know this game makes billions for Microsoft, but the support on this game over the years for Microsoft has just been great. They have really gave the support to the game that it deserved, and this is another part of it. So yeah, the most visually improved game, Minecraft RTX. And Adam, you have a yeah. What's your individual award? Explain to us. I don't know what this means. So
Again, I didn't realise it wasn't about it was games and stuff. So I picked a game that I couldn't put on my top 6, but I did enjoy. So it's just there as well.
that is a category. I like it. It's bending the rules, but I like it.
We'll do the top 7 next year. So this
Yeah.
came out in 2011. Never played it before. It was on Game Pass. It just looked like a catchy front, so I played it and I thought it was a great game. It's all about zombies. It's Dead Island Definitive
Edition.
Definitive. Thank you very much.
The definite edition, definitely an edition of Dead Island.
And I just not played one of those before, and it was good. It was a good game. I kept playing it, and then got through it. There's lots of puzzles and lots of things. Just play if you want to play. Just a tough game. It's good.
Fantastic. Ben, what's your individual award, please?
Last of Us 2 for the best looking snow I've seen in a game.
Have you not played Red Dead Redemption 2 then? No.
A little bit, but it wasn't as impressive. Just the fact that you can follow your tracks.
I think the snow probably is better in Last of Us, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go
like
back
on the top of a fence, and you jump over the fence and the snow goes, or it falls off of a branch of a tree. Just the physics in that. I know it is relatively straightforward, sort of plug in, if you like, but it's just impressive. And walking through the snow in your horse or people, and just it obviously keeps the tracks there. Have
you not played Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PlayStation?
Yeah, well, that's footsteps that are just sort of black shapes in a greyish white background. But that's my award. Don't disagree with my award.
Listen,
it's my award.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm gonna have to go and have a look. I'm gonna have a look. The chat is all saying Red Dead.
The chat is going for Red Dead. Yeah, perhaps I need to go back and have a look at Red Dead Snow again.
So I don't know.
I can't. I haven't got the time for Red Dead. But I'm sure it is nice. But it impressed me more in Last of Us so far.
Okay, fine. That's okay. So that's our awards. What I want to do now quickly, guys, is just I want to do some top 3s from I've asked for some top 3s from listeners and viewers and all of that. So I got some of them here. So I'm going to read them out. Then you can just throw 1 or 2 more games that you wanted to include that are not there, and then we can finish with the recommendation of the year, right? Chop indeed. So Craig, he has he has Fall Guys as number 1. WRC 9 as number 2, and Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered at number 3. Twisties himself has Ghost of Tsunami. I think there's a misspell there. Animal Crossing in number 2, and Doom Eternal at number 3, which interesting. He also has the worst games. We didn't do it, but I'll read it anyway. He has Fall Guys as the worst game, Among Us, and Cold War. Right. Oh, we go here. We got Dennis. He did the spoiler cast with us for Half-Life Alyx. Is number 1 is Half-Life Alyx. Number 2, Fall Guys. Fall Guys is popular. And FIFA 21, number 3. Martin, friend of the show, Martin, he's got number 1. He's got Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is great, by the way. That was on my short list. GTFO number 2, and Wasteland 3 as number 3. And Calvin. Good old Calvin. He also has Ghost of Tsushima. So obviously this game is quite high on a lot of people's lists here, to be fair. As number 1, Assassin's Creed Valhalla as number 2, and Hades as number 3. For me, I mean, yes, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It was up there for me. I played a lot of hours of it, and I considered it for Game of the Year. Wasteland 3 definitely as well. Immortals, Phoenix Rising was another one. That's about it for me. The ones I wanted just to touch on. Any one of you guys were struggling, you wanted to put it in and you couldn't?
Nope.
No.
Nothing to add. I've already.
I didn't play enough this year. So.
Yeah, I'm happy with my lists this year. I think
Okay.
the other ones that might have gone on there, I've already mentioned in my other awards. So
Fantastic. Okay, so when we do a normal podcast, we have a why don't you at the end, where we do a recommendation for something to read, do, watch, eat, whatever. We just any recommendation, just anything. What we like to do on the end of the year is we do a recommendation of the year. So I'll start with me. I want to recommend again the Peanut Butter Falcon, the movie. It's on Netflix on the UK. I don't know in other places where you can find it, but it's I think it's fairly easy movie to watch. I want to recommend it because it's such it's a short movie. It's great. Heartfelt is very, very funny, and it's just a feel good movie. You watch that movie and you just feel better after you've seen it. That's my recommendation.
Could not agree more.
That's my why don't you of the year. Marius, what's yours?
Cobra Kai.
I still need to watch this. Yeah,
you do. It's so good. I've just finished the third season. It's hilarious. It's cheesy. It's a lot of callbacks to the old. Again, there's some quite heartfelt moments in there, although they are a bit cheesy. In places it is bad, so bad that it's funny. I mean, their complete lack of skill at any sort of martial arts or choreography is endlessly entertaining for me. In particular, Daniel LaRusso is awful. it's just so, but it's so good. I'm absolutely loving that. It's one of my favorite Netflix shows of all time. I think it is brilliant.
I do need to watch this. Adam, you have a recommendation for me? Listen more and talk over less.
Yes. Yeah. I second that.
I third it.
Wow. Outrageous. Now, what's that all about? Just in general? I agree. By
just
the way,
in general.
I'm just talking over you again. On
purpose. Didn't take long.
Yeah.
No, I was doing it on purpose. Go on. Sorry.
Can you tell me when I can talk, Bruno?
Absolutely, talk now.
But it's exactly this. We all get excited and we want to talk and we want to put our point across. But while you're trying to do that, you so often miss what the other person's saying. I do it all the time, Bruno. It's not about you. This is what I need to do more. Yes, you it would help if you did this as well. But it's yeah. I mean, I've even been on this year and Zoom and team meetings and all this really sort of gets it. Put your hand up if you're going to want to speak and stuff. But yeah.
No, I completely agree. I mean, sorry, we're having technical difficulties the whole day. It's gonna be a nightmare to edit this. No, I completely agree. Put your hand up. And the thing is, the people watching the stream will see my hand's been up loads of times, but because you guys cannot see my face,
we can't see.
I've only had this whole podcast looking at Marius, so I can't see either you or Adam.
Yes, but I completely agree. It's so important, and it's something that I am aware myself, and it's a good sentiment to have, and a good practice to have in life in general. But certainly on this internet world where we're having Zoom meetings and Skype meetings, all of that. Yeah, just put your hand up and when you want to talk and listen more. Absolutely, couldn't agree more, Adam. That's a great recommendation for the year. And let's finish with Ben.
My recommendation, obviously, you guys know I don't watch much, but Death to 2020 on Netflix. It's Charlie Brooker, and I'm guessing his friends that did Black Mirror. They just did a year in review of 2020. They've got some big names in there, such as Hugh Grant and Samuel L. Jackson, and they just basically go through the events that unfolded throughout 2020. It's quite entertaining. It's sort of tongue in cheek, taking the piss out of just the whole situation in general with COVID and obviously everything else that went on, presidential elections and the like. But yeah, it's a good little obviously Charlie Brooker's style end of the year roundup, but it's quite specific to obviously like COVID and Mr. Donald Trump and the like. But yeah, that would be my recommendation to give it a watch. It is entertaining, and there's obviously stuff that went on that I didn't even know went on, but that's my own fault for not paying attention to the internet and the news. But yeah, if you like me and don't really care, but it's worth a watch for entertainment value.
That's fantastic. It's on my watch list actually on Netflix. I want to give that a go. But yes, that's been our review of 2020. I hope you guys liked it. On the next podcast, we're gonna go back to our normal format when we talk about the video game news, the games we've been playing that past week, and obviously, why don't you give a recommendation? So we'll go back to that on our next podcast. Hey, it's been great. If you want to send in suggestions for opening questions or tell us that our games were rubbish, we pick, you can do so by emailing podcast@monkeytail.co.uk. If you want to send a fan mail to Adam, you can do so on the same email, and I'll just forward it to him. But yeah.
Can I just say, Adam, why are you not wearing a Hawaiian shirt today?
Because I was brought a shirt that says Xbox for Christmas. Santa brought it me, so I thought I'd wear it. Marius quite often wears sort of game-related shirts, so I do apologise for the lack of.
That's all right. 2021. It's a new year, new start. Let's bring them back next year.
But yes, we'll be back, and hopefully, and thanks for hanging in there with some of the difficulties we had today. I mean, as you can see,
you're welcome.
I mean, we had a lot of issues today. We started half an hour late today already because of the issues. But
there were points I was thinking about not hanging around, to be honest.
Yes, there were points I was thinking we can do this another day. But we'll sort that. We'll sort them out we'll iron them out for the next time. But yes, it's been great having you guys. Thanks for people that hang about on chat as well today.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thanks,
we'll be back next time. I've been great. And they've been with me as well, so awesome. See you guys next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Happy
Bye.
2021.
Bye-bye all.